I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Oh, Rocket Sauce is here. Start to continues here. Here you go. You guys ready? We'll let Richard eat while you guys watch our brand new intro. Here we go.
That's Retro
Oh,
Fandango.
wait. Hold on. Let me start this at the beginning. Here we go.
That's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. But that's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Wow.
There you go. We had 3 weeks off. That's what I did.
Fantastic. I didn't think you were able to edit anymore. All of your videos that come out now are like one shot.
I can edit. I just choose not to. It's like Jerry Seinfeld. I choose not to race. I beat everyone at the YouTube game, and then I retired.
I'm almost done here. Just a second.
Well, you just take your time, Thunder Push, while I do some house cleaning. Cartridge Club this month is playing The Revenge of Shinobi on the Sega Genesis. And then next month, Portal 2. That's a good game.
I haven't played that one. I haven't played the first one.
It's best played co-op. I think you can really only play it co-op. So maybe that's something we would do on the Steam.
That's for you, Rocket Sauce.
I see you're just keeping our fans pleased. RF Gen's playing AirZonk.
Is that what it was? I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Which is, I think, one of the most rare and expensive games on the TurboGrafx 16. So hopefully you guys got some emulation. And Beat the Bandy, Beat the Duke is doing all sorts of crazy things there. They're switching it up. And at first I was kind of like, what is this? This is too confusing. But after I looked at it for a little bit, I kind of understand what's happening and I support it.
Well, basically
I think Matt Bandy's thrown in the towel and said, I'm never going to beat Duke at any of these high score games. So it's time to switch it up and do some story-based games. That's my theory.
I figure it was just he had a bunch of games he wanted to beat, and he was like, throw them in there.
That could be it too.
It's pretty much whatever he wants to play. He said, all right, I'm going to play this, so if you guys want to play with me. And if you check the postings, he's pretty much beaten them all by now.
Right. But if you beat them, then he gives you points. You assigned each game points, and you get points.
But what if everybody beats the same games? How do you get more points if you beat the same thing at the same difficulty?
I guess it's just a tie, I suppose.
Oh, so it's not possible for somebody to beat you with a higher score.
Right. See?
All right.
See?
I'm falling in line with your logic there.
Right. So the games he's picked so far is these are all on the NES. Dr. Jekyll, Batman, Double Dragon 2, Wizards and Warrior, and that's it. So it's just
Wizards and Warriors. As far as I know, it's those. And then if you beat it on a certain difficulty level, it's more points or something. Or you have to beat one of them on a certain difficulty level.
Okay.
I haven't beaten any of those games. I've only played Batman of those games.
I've only played Double Dragon 2.
You never played Batman on the NES?
Oh, yeah, that's the really difficult one, right?
The little blue Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
really
I
tough.
have. Yeah. Okay, I have played.
Good game. It's just really tough.
Right. I was thinking the other one with the I forget. There's two Batman games, right? There's just Batman, and then there's the one with the Joker.
There's Revenge of the Joker, where you have some kind of gauntlet that shoots out stuff.
Right. Yeah, I've never played that.
I played a little bit. I didn't get anything too fun out of it. The original Batman is one of the first games I bought for my Famicom when I decided to start buying retro games. I bought Batman, New Ghostbusters 2, and Ghost and Goblins was my first 3 games.
Cool. Actually, what I don't know
Joe,
why I'm getting attacked
throwing
here by
shade
Joe.
right now.
First of all, he says AirZonk is not too expensive for me. I think that game is like $400 or $500, so that's like a half a pair of Joe glasses right there.
Mhm.
And then he says I don't play games anymore. Actually, I do, because I had 3 weeks off, and I bet you I played more game than Joe did, for sure.
Awesome.
For sure. I know we're a huge fan of the short games here. We talk a lot about short games, but all of my Christmas plans fell through with the Omicron. At least that's the excuse my family gave me for not wanting to hang out with me. They said, no, don't come here for Omicron. Okay, I guess I'll just stay home. It's actually a good thing that we did, because it turns out that my sister-in-law did get the coronavirus.
Uh-oh.
And if we did go, yeah, we most likely would have all gotten it too. So, yeah.
So she didn't know
PC
until
doesn't
after
count.
going to the meetup?
Nope, it was after like a week or so after Christmas, like maybe 5 days after Christmas, which when she started feeling the symptoms. So,
Yikes.
Joe says PC games don't count. That's because Joe doesn't understand what PC is. So, ignorance. Yeah, so I ended up playing two longer games, because I just found it kind of like I had all the extra time, so I just find it comforting to not have to like rethink all the controls and everything like that. I just got comfortable with the game and just kind of went with that. So I ended up playing through Grand Theft Auto 5 again, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that game. It's you play like three protagonists, and you can keep switching between all three of them, and it's kind of fun, because like when you switch to one of them, they place them at random places in the map. So there's one crazy guy, Trevor, that you play as, and like half the time he's like stumbling out of a strip club or something like that, drunk, and then you got to get in the car and drive around, and he's all weaving and everything. It's good times. It's fun. Yeah, but then you like rob banks and stuff. That's really the fun part of the game. You got to plan your heist. It's basically like the game is the single player, and it is like a huge long tutorial for the online stuff, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to go online and plan all these heists with your friends to rob a bank or something, break into a vault or something like that. But
was the overall plot? Are you like an undercover cop, or you're just a criminal?
So there's three characters, right? And one is Trevor. He's like the crazy guy. They made him a Canadian too, and he lives out like in the suburbs, like in the trailer park of the city. And him and Mike, who's the other guy who lives in the city. Michael is this guy who went into the undercover. They tried to pull off this big heist like 10 years ago, and they got caught. And Trevor thought that Mike had died, and it turns out that he was in this witness protection program. So they end up running into each other again. And then there's the third character is Franklin, and he's like a younger guy, and they kind of take him under his wing, then teach him how to do all the. He's like the Winston Zedmore sort of the game. But yeah, then you get into like you make a deal with they call it like everything in GTA is like a joke name or whatever. So it's not the FBI, it's the FIB, the Federal Investigation Bureau. So everything's like written out as FIB on their uniforms and stuff. So you make a deal with FIB to you're basically helping them out by being like doing criminal things that they can't do outside of the law, and that to help them out. And then in the meantime, while you're doing this thing, and you're kind of playing FIB and this other Mongol against each other, and that you're planning this huge heist, the one big heist that you're going to go out on. And yeah, it was fun.
Just stealing cars and hurting people. That's what you do, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. Just run around, pull people out. Hey, you see a car you like, you just run up to it, open the door, pull them out, get out of here, and you jump in the car and drive around.
That game came out quite a few years ago now, didn't it? Are they making another one?
Yeah, you know what? It came out. I think the Wii U was still the console for.
So that game's like at least 5 years old.
Yeah, I think it was the last year of the 360 PS3. So it was probably 2012, and then the next year the new consoles came out.
Oh, so 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
getting up there. But still looks great.
It's one of those games that they gave you free on Epic a long time ago, and I don't know. I can't get into those games. I have no problems with them. I understand the appeal of them. It's like you said, it's a longer game. That's the
It is
for me.
But you can play it in short spurts. You don't have to do
right, and you don't even have to play the game. You can just wander around.
Yeah, and just find things, and
that's pretty much what I end up doing. I tried playing Vice City, and then 4 years ago, and I play the storyline for a bit, and then it's just I walk around, drive a car off a cliff, and see what else you can do.
Yep.
Go bowling. Oh my goodness! I don't think Joe quite understands how this show works. He's constantly commenting and asking questions. Just make fun of us a couple of times and then sit there quietly.
All right. Well, he made fun of you. He said he imagines your secret life in Japan is like GTA 5.
My Yakuza
and then he
lifestyle.
wants. Can you recommend 2 Xbox 360 games to play? I'm looking for something after finishing her Forza Horizon.
Xbox 360. Why are you going back?
Yeah. I don't know. He's got a PS4.
Bulletstorm is on the 360.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ghostbusters is on the 360.
That's another good one. Yeah. Those solid recommendations there.
There you go. That's 2 games.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. Like, if you're looking for something like Forza Horizon, I think Test Drive. Can't remember the name of it. It's Test Drive something. There's part 1 and part 2, and those are like open world racing games.
I played games too. I didn't know we were getting into this already. I actually took some time to play games over the holiday weekend.
I did. I saw you.
It was all PC gaming. Sorry.
I saw your name pop up while I was on Steam. I saw
really?
that you were playing. Yeah, I saw that you were playing both of these games actually.
Mm-hmm. I finally played that. Oh god, I forgot the name of it already. Gauntlet Slayer Edition.
Yeah,
game that's been out for a little while. I always wanted to sit down and play it, and I just never got to it. So I finally did, and it was all right. That's my review. It's okay.
It was fun to play. Like Sarah and I played it together, and I could see like on your own how it.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be a little more fun if you're doing the co-op.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's very much like the old Gauntlet. It's just top down, run around, kill a bunch of monsters, get the key, open the thing. Boy, it was frustrating though that I didn't know you could destroy the turkey so easily, because I was playing as the Valkyrie. She had the sword and shield combo, and she could throw her shield like Captain America, and like boom, bounce around and kill all the monsters. And then you just hear the narrator say, "Oh, Valkyrie decided to destroy the turkey. Guess she didn't like it." Like, I didn't know you could do that. So I was constantly just getting rid of my food.
Dope. Yeah.
Fun enough game, and it wasn't too long. And then after I beat it, I just messed around to see what the other characters do, and I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. I'll probably never play it again.
Yeah.
It's just okay. But then I moved on to Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which was also given away free right at the beginning of the sale, or I don't know, not too long ago. They gave it away for free. But I always wanted to play that game. It's a first-person shooter, and it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very silly. It's very arcadey, and I really liked it. I played through it, and then I did a bunch of the little challenges that you get afterwards. And then I'm actually on a New Game Plus of that right now.
Yeah. That game's a little bit different than the other Call of Juarez. I think the other ones are a little more
They're a little
and I
more
think-
serious. Yeah, this one is. I think I mentioned this before, but it's from the point of view of a guy who walks into a saloon and he's telling stories, and then you're playing the adventures of his stories. So sometimes his stories change or don't add up, or
right.
people question him about things. So the entire time you're playing, you hear the voice of him saying what's going on. And sometimes it's kind of funny because he's basically telling you what to do in the moment. Like, oh, I did this. I started to run into that cavern, or
Right.
he'll be in a situation where he can't escape, and then suddenly he's like, oh, but then I noticed a passage I didn't see before, and something will open up, or a ladder will just fall down from the sky and appear, in the game. So
That sounds a little bit like that Bastion game where the
never
announcer
played
guy
that.
would. It was same idea where the announcer, there was like a narrator.
The narrator, yes, yeah.
Yeah, but this sounds like a little bit of a play on that because the narrator was straight in that game. This sounds like
Well, this
had a
is
little bit of fun
definitely
with it.
a little. Yeah, it's having fun with itself.
Yeah.
Just very arcadey, fun shooter. Where you get to, there's literally a part in the game where he says it was like, they were just popping up out of nowhere, and it's very much like those police training things where it's just doom 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 characters all over. Probably closer to something like House of the Dead, where it's just a rail shooter and just constantly people. That's fun.
Here's Joe piping up again. He says he has Bulletstorm, but he hasn't played it. He's thinking of trying Lost Odyssey. I have played Lost Odyssey, and if you're into the classic Final Fantasy turn-based games, which I'm pretty sure Joe is, then that's definitely one. It's done by the people who made the older Final Fantasy games, so that's definitely one to check out. I think it's like 4 DVDs, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there was like 4 DVDs in the package.
Oh my goodness! How do you play a game for that long?
Well, like I said, sometimes a longer game.
I understand that. I used to, in the past, play some longer games, but just don't have the time for it.
Well,
need to be able to finish and move on to something else.
Speaking of longer games, I also played, after I was done with Grand Theft Auto 5, I put in the Skyrim. And at first I was playing it on my Xbox Game Pass, but then that started to flake out. I was getting all sorts of problems with it because it's a Bethesda game, and I realized I was playing the 10th anniversary edition of this game, which just came out, I guess, like a couple of months ago. And like any Bethesda game, there's always problems when it first comes out. So I said, screw this. I'm not going to play this Xbox Game Pass version of this game anymore. And I went back to the PC, the mighty PC, and I played my 10-year-old version of the game. I found an old save, loaded it up, pretty much discovered that I created almost the identical character. And I just started playing that. And that's a good game. It's good times. And again, it's like, it's a long game. There's like tons and tons of stuff to do. But you can just play it in short bursts, like if you just have a half hour, you can just go in and clear out a cave, find some things, progress the story a little bit. It's quick. You got the quick save, right? On the PC anyways. You can save at any point. So you never have to worry about losing progress or anything like that unless you forget to save. And it'll kick you back to an old save. But it's fun. It's good times getting back into it. Get to play it in 4K. It's good times.
Oh, hey, Joe, don't steal our conversation here. I was just going to ask Duke about that. Duke is repairing an old TV, and he ripped out all the capacitors, and I'm curious where that's going. And he's kind of getting me in trouble because I was just about to throw away some old TVs. But now if he is repairing them, it's making me feel like, should I hang on to those and try a little repair work?
It's kind of sad because that's what my dad did, right? He was an instrumentation man, and he fixed like tons and tons of TVs. And when my mom moved out of the house, I took a bunch of stuff that he had and I just threw it away. I don't know if any of it was good or what, but I really had no time to mess around with it too much. So I ended up chucking a lot of it and giving away a lot of it. If I known that these guys would have been into it, I would have kept some of it, because he had like the one cool thing he had, I don't know what the heck it was called, but basically if your tube was out of alignment.
Oh, the
He
thingy.
had this ring.
Yeah.
And it hooks up the thing, and he could get the
Yeah,
tube back into
it's
alignment.
called a degausser.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fun to
Yeah.
watch him do it because he would hold the thing up there, and it would fix
Yeah,
the
I've
picture.
seen videos of that because one of my TVs has some discoloration in the upper corner, and I was trying to figure out how to fix it, and that's what they'd show. Like some guy doing a YouTube video is like, "Oh, all you got to do is get one of these things that nobody has, and just move it all over." Yeah, and the screen goes all wonky, but it realigns the thingies that do the stuff.
Yeah. Well, when he wasn't using it, it was my steering wheel for any sort of car that I had in my head, and he'd get pissed at me because he'd be like, "Where is that thing?" I'm like, "Oh, it's of course it's in the rec room where I was playing." Oh, Jack White.
That's that little, when you turn on a CRT and you hear that boom sound,
Yep.
That's what it is. That's the internal degausser.
Jack White's not touring with the same drummer as the last tour. That's disappointing, according to Bill. And Duke says he's just got some capacitors in and hope to get it started this weekend. Yeah, because those old systems would have, even the consoles would have this. They'd had capacitors, but they made them out of paper. It was just rolled up paper, and they would over time they expand, and they wear out. And so now they got plastic capacitors that you can replace them with that will last a much longer time.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about this stuff, but everything I see whenever people are repairing old consoles, TVs, whatever, there was like, "Oh, you got to change the capacitors. You want your game gear to work, you got to swap out the capacitors."
Yeah, that's the first thing to do. Those are the first things that wear out on them, right? Like nothing else on there is really batteries will die or leak or whatever, but those are pretty much the easiest things to change.
It's the first thing to go to,
yeah.
But I'm not as brave as Duke. I am not a master electrician, so I get a little nervous sticking my hands in the back of those TVs. I always do the thing with the screwdriver where you're supposed to discharge the TV, but still, I'm never quite sure that I don't never feel comfortable touching anything in there. So
yeah, it's amazing how much power like anytime I work on my computer, I always unplug it and then I turn it on, and the computer will turn on for like a half a second. Like there's a lot of power that stays in the power supply. So it's not enough to kill you, but it's enough to give you a little bit of a shock. Look at this. We got
even Josh is here. Oh my goodness.
Happy New Year. That's right. Yeah, this is the first episode of the New Year.
Creepy New Year to you, Josh.
All right.
My goodness, what's going on? Where are all these people coming from?
They must have had nothing to do.
I guess maybe they're still on the end of their winter vacation or something. Man,
not me. I've been back to work. It's good time.
I had my first day back yesterday.
Well, how was your time off?
It was good. Games? Well, I had a whole list of things I wanted to do, and I got to do very, very little of that list. But yeah, I took some time to play some games. Just Christmas and New Year's at home. That's about it. I had a whole bunch of movies I was going to watch. Didn't have time for them.
Didn't watch them?
No. Nope. I got them right here. I got this. My wife got me this. She knew I had my eye on it. So I got the Superman anthology. That's got all the Christopher Reeves and it's the Christopher Reeve movies and the Brandon Routh one, and then some extra stuff. But I was really excited because it has two versions of Superman 1 and then 2 versions of Superman 2. Because you got the theatrical and the Richard Donner for Superman 2, but then the original had a 3-hour television edit.
Oh.
That I've heard is too long and overbloated, which is why they cut it down to the theatrical version. But I'm very curious to see what it's about.
Yeah.
They did that because, from what I read, when the film was going to play on television, the television studio had to pay by the minute. in order to broadcast it. So they gave them a 3-hour version to make
to
some
make
money.
more money.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, they did that knowing that all the stuff was cut for a reason.
Right.
But I'm very curious to see what else was in there. So, and then there's some other bonus disc that has a bunch of other Superman stuff on there. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch Superman 4 again because I haven't seen that in the longest time.
Yeah, me neither. And I have 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, and I have 3 and 4 on DVD, and I do want to watch them, but Sarah does not. She's like anything superhero right now. She's kind of burnt out on it.
I
So she's just not.
understand.
Yeah, she's not interested in.
I'm actually really curious to watch the Brandon Routh one again, the Superman Returns, because at the time it was so depressing and just kind of slow and somber from what I remember, like a sad Superman.
Yeah,
But now that I've seen the Zack Snyder Superman,
he might. It
it's
might
like it might not be so bad
be.
anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I remember the plot was a complete ripoff of the first movie, and
Essentially, that's what kind of sunk it for me is that you're basically just you're basically pretending to be Christopher Reeve, instead of kind of bringing your own thing to the character and the story. They're just literally continuing everything they could, bring back the Marlon Brando footage, make everything look the same, sound the same. But I imagine that the Superman 4 is a bad movie because of low production values and a bad script and hokey acting and stuff like that. The Superman Returns is a well-directed, pretty well-written, good performances. It's just the tone and the story probably aren't great. So I'm curious to revisit.
I was just disappointed because I want to see Superman do something new. In the it's not that it was just like I did not need to see the same story again. I want it's like all these superheroes they keep doing the origin story. And it's like you want to see something new. You want to see them do something else. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I mean, Superman 2 is a really fun movie. I'd say it's a good movie, but it's really unnecessary. Like everything Superman did in the first one, that's like the complete Superman experience for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see him fight, other super beings in the second one, and it's fun. It's good. But yeah, I just Superman 1. It's one of my favorite superhero movies.
The Llama. I'm just gonna call him the Llama from now on.
Llama.
He wants to know. Let's see. We need a retro film dangle. Batman movies versus Superman movies. Whose is the best?
They're both. They have a hit and then some minor hits and then a bunch of stinkers. They're kind of the same.
Tough.
I like the first Superman. I like the '89 Batman. I do like Batman Returns. I do like Superman 2. I like parts of Superman 3. But then all the others are... the Adam West Batman. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So I think you might have to go, like
I am curious to go... Well, there have been more Batman movies. So by default,
yeah,
I guess
that's right.
Because you got the Christopher Nolan ones, you got the new
all about
Snyder ones. Yeah.
I was thinking the original.
I'm curious to revisit those too, because I tried watching that Batman Begins and Dark Knight a couple of times over the years, and I was never able to sit through them a second time.
I really only like that middle one, with the Joker.
One,
yeah. The other two are just Batman Begins was boring, and
that was dull. Well, Rises, that got really boring towards the end. I was staring around the theater as that movie was wrapping up.
By the way, I was watching something on. Oh, it was actually this thing on Star Trek 5, because I watched all the Star Trek movies, and which we'll get to in a bit. But they were talking about part of the reason why Star Trek 5, one of the many reasons why that movie fell apart was the writer's strike, and they brought up Batman, and I didn't realize this, that Batman was that Tim Burton 1989 Batman movie also fell prey to that writer's strike. And that's why
Really?
the third act in that movie, the movie kind of falls apart a little bit. It's not as good as the first two acts because the writer never finished the script. They just kind of came up with stuff on their own. And I was like, well, we'll just have the Joker fall off the edge of a building and that'll be it, Which I never.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, out of
Imagine
all the
how
writer's
much
strike,
better it would have been. Yeah.
out of all the writer's strike movies, that was the one.
You know what else is interesting about that first Batman movie? The 89 Batman movie that I never realized until I saw somebody online point out is that Batman and the Joker meet each other 4 times in that film, and each time it's a different combination of their personalities. Like, at first, Jack Napier murders the Waynes, so that's the person and the person, right? Bruce Wayne and Jack Napier.
Yeah.
Then it's Batman meets Napier. Then it's the Joker meets Bruce Wayne, and then it's Batman meets the Joker at the end.
Wow, yeah, that's
Just
right.
neat little detail.
Like the Batman and Joker do not get together until the end of the movie.
Right.
That's interesting.
If you think of it on terms of them having their split personalities and going through stuff, it's kind of
neat. Yeah. That question about the Superman Returns versus the Batman, or Superman movies versus Batman movies, over in our Discord, Kyle was asking about the next generation Star Trek movies versus was it the prequels or the sequels?
The sequels, the Disney Wars.
Yeah. So
I haven't finished them. I haven't seen the last one.
Me neither, actually. And
that was another one I thought maybe I'd actually sit down and watch that this weekend, this holiday, but no, didn't get to it.
Let me see. What does he actually ask here?
He asked basically what you said. The Kelvin timeline.
Oh, it was the Kelvin
timeline. The JJ, right? The JJ Trek versus the Disney Star Wars sequels.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because I thought he said next gen, but no, he's right. You're right. It was the Kelvin timeline. So the Kelvin timeline, for the people who don't know, it's the J.J. Abrams Star Trek that started in 2010. Yeah, I can't even bother to finish those Star Wars movies. I just don't care. And really, the last Star Trek movie wasn't worth watching either. But at least with that Kelvin time, I think is that the one? There's Into Darkness.
That was the third one. That was my favorite of the 3.
No.
Yes,
it was Kirk on the motorbike.
Yeah, that was about like a 2-minute scene in that movie.
No,
the entire movie wasn't Kirk on a bike.
It felt like it was Kirk on a bike for an entire movie. And plus, I cannot get past Kirk just giving up on his ship like that. That was just so stupid.
The ship was pretty destroyed by the time.
Why is he going in there? It made no sense. I just forget it. Anyways, no, that movie was terrible. The villain was awful.
The villain was nothing special, but the film itself was more entertaining to me than Into Darkness or the first Star Trek reboot.
No, I disagree. The first one is the best one. I will say that movie on its own is good. In context of all 3, it's part of the terribleness. That's all 3. But I liked how that first one had some science fiction in it. I like the split parallel universes. I like, the whole thing with Spock and Vulcan blowing up and having a reason for old Spock to come into the thing. I liked all that stuff. I thought it was good. And it felt like it was going to be a good build up to more Star Trek. Instead it went to down the road of just more action, which was unfortunate. But I think that on its own.
Maybe Kyle's right. Maybe I got to revisit these and then watch that final Star Wars.
So I'm
not watching that Jedi one again. That was garbage.
I'm not watching any of the Star Wars. I'll say that the Kelvin timeline is better than those Star Wars movies because at least you got that first movie. The other 2, I couldn't. That second movie, yeah. You know what? Come to think of it, if you think about it, that second Star Trek movie, Into Darkness, is exactly what, because they're both J.J. Abrams, right? It's exactly what he did with the very first Star Wars sequel. That first Star Wars sequel was just like a rehash of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just like another thing, and that's what that second Star Trek movie was. It was, they took the trebles and ripped off everything from Star Trek 2, and none of it made. I mean, come on, magic triple blood.
I'm not going to defend that one, but I've also kind of forgotten a lot of it. Been a long time since I've seen it.
All right, well, let's talk about
the only positive thing I'll say about Star Trek Into Darkness is I do have like a little piece of metal that has the little Star Trek insignia and says Star Trek Into Darkness. I found it at a thrift shop for real cheap, and I was like, "Oh, that looks neat." I put it on my shelf.
Yeah, sometimes you can get like some cool things out of bad movies.
Yes.
But, yeah, it happens sometimes. Sometimes.
Do you want to talk more about Star Trek Discovery? Because video games and collectibles has just caught up on it.
I don't know. I watched the first season. I thought it was terrible. I tried watching the second season. I made it an episode and a half in, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this. So that's all I got on Discovery.
It's actually been, I think it's been removed from my Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe they're not continuing it here.
Well, they're starting that Paramount thing here. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, speaking of Paramount, did you hear that Beavis and Butthead are coming back?
I saw. I don't know what I saw. Like a headline on the news. I was walking by a monitor at work, and it said that the creator of Beavis and Butthead released drawings of old Beavis and old Butthead, and I'm like, why is this news? They were in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
They were in the movie from 25 years ago. What is?
Well, I saw a posting from Mike Judge, and it was like old Beavis and Butthead, and I looked at it, I was like, that's kind of cute. Yeah, look at them being old. And then I see the announcement later on, oh no, this is real. They're coming back, but they're going to have them be middle-aged now. As like there's supposed to be a new movie and some other stuff coming. It's like, that's actually kind of more interesting than just seeing teenage Beavis and Butthead again.
Well, I liked how when he brought it back, what was that, like 10 years ago now? And like he didn't change a thing. He didn't change the animation. He didn't change the aspect ratio. It looked like more Beavis and Butthead from the 90s. The only thing was that the videos were now they were current at the time instead of being videos from the 1990s. I kind of like that, but yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I have that, but I still haven't watched it. It's still sealed.
Oh, it was good. Mike Judge is a funny guy, so I mean, whatever he comes up with, I'm sure will be.
Well, the good thing about this is it's not a plot-heavy thing. Like it's not like trying to bring back Star Trek or something. It's just do more silly things with these characters, and that's all you got to accomplish. Yeah. So, talk about Star Trek. You watched all the movies.
I watched. So I get the itching every Christmas to watch all the movies, and this Christmas I finally did it. I finally went and watched them all. So I started with Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the Robert Wise director's cut. That movie still has.
So you watched a DVD.
I did, yeah. I sullied myself and watched the DVD. It's still the most Star Trek out of all the Star Trek movies. It still has its problems, even with the different cut of the film. It drags in parts. There's parts like it needs an editor to come in and just get them to the Enterprise. They don't need to do the whole big, long, dragging scene. And then when they get into V'ger, and it just takes them forever to get to the center, it's come on, let's go. So it does have its pacing problems, but still there are parts of that movie that I just love. And, it's all about Kirk, Spock, and Bones doing their thing. And they do that thing. I
love seeing McCoy with his grizzly beard and his neck medallion.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Bones, DeForest Kelley, like kills it in all the movies. There is not one of the movies where like it felt like he phoned it in or whatever. He was always just awesome. New Star Treks. Bill says there's a new Star Trek doc series on Crave called The Center Chair. Pretty good. Well, I might have to check that out. So that was good. Star Trek 2 holds up. Still good. Still enjoy the con thing. I still say Star Trek 3 is underrated. I don't know why everyone hates that movie. I had a good time with that one.
I don't know if anybody hates it. It's just it doesn't pop the way, you know, Con or Voyage Home or anything.
It pops for me.
Like it just kind of it's a little more subdued. And yeah, I mean, if you think about iconic imagery and everything, the destruction of the Enterprise in that film, that thing gives me chills every time I see it. It kind of it like angles towards the camera, and then you see the saucer just go straight up.
And then I think that scene gets me every time when they kill Kirk's son. Spoiler alert! And he misses his chair. Oh man. I'll say out of those three, if we're going to go 2, 3, and 4, it's the weaker one out of those three. But I still say it's a great film. And there's that thing that all the odd number Star Trek movies suck, and I just feel like 3 bucks that trend.
Well, 1 breaks that trend. 1 is a good movie.
Yeah,
1 is a great movie.
Yeah. Well, it does have its pacing problems. I'm not going to say it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's very 2001 inspired. You know,
it's got some problems. It needed some work. Like they didn't need. Well, one of the things is they got all the characters in that first movie. They had to work in like everybody, right? Because they thought that was going to be the only one. But like they didn't need to have the whole, like, even though it looked cool to have, you know, the guy that Kirk was going to have as the Vulcan science officer on the Enterprise, and they do the whole thing where they try to beam him on and he dies, and that whole eerie scene with where he falls apart and all that, and it's cool and everything, but in terms of pacing the movie, I mean, just get in space already. Get Spock on the bridge already. Like it just it needed to move. It didn't need all that. It's just wasting time. Okay, so where are we at? 4, excellent. Still my favorite Star Trek film. 5, there are parts of 5 that I love, but man, they just like no production value at all. And that one, you know, again, they had the writer's strike, and they couldn't get Industrial Light and Magic to do the special effects in it, so they got the guy who did the special effects for Little Shop of Horrors. Apparently, they got that team in there, but their specialty was puppetry. They didn't really know how to do science fiction shots, so a lot of the shots are just flat, and then all the Klingons they look terrible. It was like nobody wanted Shatner to succeed in that movie. That was the one that he directed, and it's like all the Klingons all have hairspray, like they got these big hairdos and stuff. It's not good. Thankfully, they came back for Star Trek 6, which is fantastic. It's got some great social commentary about USA and Russia, and it's all done in this whodunit package. Good times.
Hang on a sec before you continue your thought there. What kind of package you got for the Star Trek movies? I haven't picked up like a complete set of those yet. I still kind of have them like little piecemeal. I was wondering if there's like a good Star Trek set.
Yeah, do you want me to go get it?
Yes, I do.
All right, hold on. We'll get my Star Treks.
Go get them. Are they near? Oh, you can't hear me already. Does anybody else out there have any of the Star Treks in a nice set? Because I know they just recently released a 4K thing, but they only put 4 of the movies on that for some reason. What's up with 5 and 6? Why would they not do that? Because then you got to buy them again later. That's why.
What?
I'm complaining. They just re-released. They've just put out like the 4K films, but it's only 4 of them.
Oh,
yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, but they didn't do anything with 5 or 6. But they're just going to release them again later. So what's the point?
I don't know if you want 5 in 4K unless they go.
I
Shatner
honestly
cut.
have not seen 5 in a very long time. Like seriously, like 25 years. I haven't seen this movie. But 6, absolutely, I want. Why would you not get a set and not want the entire, at least,
Yeah, especially
original
6.
cast?
Yeah. And 5 has it has a lot of good ideas in 5. It just the execution wasn't there. Plus, they had a lot of fighting over the script, right? Because in that movie, I don't think I'm spoiling anything, but in that movie, Cybok, who's like the bad guy of the film, he's able to brainwash people and get them to do his bidding because he's like a fringe Vulcan. And part of Shatner's original idea was that Cybok was able to take over all of the Enterprise, right? He was able to brainwash everybody. And the rest of the cast, Paramount liked the idea, so they were going forward with it. And then when the rest of the cast got wind of that this was happening, they were like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to be easily brainwashed. Plus, a lot in the script, it went like, because they were like, Kirk wasn't susceptible to Cybok's brainwashing because he was strong-willed and strong-minded, whereas Cybok can only affect people who are weak-minded and weak. So, right away, DeForest Kelly and Leonard Nimoy had a huge problem with that. I mean, come on. Anyways, this is the 50th anniversary edition of all the Star Trek films. So
yeah, that's the one I was looking at.
Yeah, it's a good set. It's got all the extras that were on the DVDs pretty much. The only thing is like all the menus and everything. It's got this flipper thing where they're kind of insecure.
Yeah.
And the menus are all the same. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, you pop in the movie and the only thing that changes is the title. When you pop in the old DVDs, like, they went in and they went crazy with all the menus and everything for every film, right? Like, everything was.
So I'm in that process where I'm still transitioning and flipping out some old stuff, but a couple of the old DVDs is like, I don't want to get rid of that. It's got a nice package, got a good design.
Yeah. Oh, I'm keeping my DVDs. I need I got rid of them and I've been finding them in the thrift stores. So I still need 3 and 2 and 5.
The thick ones, right?
Yeah. But the thing with this set is that it's the theatrical versions of all the films. So 1 and 2 are the theatrical versions. Now,
from what I understand, there is a standalone director's cut for Khan. That's the one.
You mean this?
Yes.
Yes. These also came out in 4K as well, so just a heads up. Right. I bought this and then I found out that it was in 4K later, but whatever.
But then there has yet to be a Blu-ray for the director's cut of the motion picture.
Correct. Because the motion picture, when they did the director's cut, they redid all the special effects in standard def. He didn't do it for, it's not easy to scale up into 1080p. So they have to go back and redo all the special effects in order to get that version. But apparently it's happening.
I've heard that. Yes.
But I would apparently Shatner's been pushing Paramount to do get his version of Star Trek 5 out there. And I would love that if they would actually, because if they got to redo the special effects, man, they look terrible. And if they did that and maybe gave him his original ending with the rock monsters, his infamous. So like the movie, it was supposed to end with he wasn't fighting God, but he was fighting these rock monsters. And it's an infamous story where he wanted 10 rock monsters for Captain Kirk to fight. And they were running out of budget. And the props department said, we can't give you 10. We can only give you 5. He's like, okay, give me 5. And then a week goes by and they're like, we can't give you 5. We can only give you 2. He's like, 2 rock monsters? All right, well, let's do this. And then after another week goes by, they couldn't give him 2. They could only give him 1. So he only had 1 rock monster. So then he started shooting it and it looked terrible. So he dropped the whole rock monster idea. And it's unfortunate because he had like the idea was like at the beginning of the movie, he's climbing a rock, right? He's climbing a mountain.
Right. Yes.
Rock
Yes.
climbing. And that's supposed to tie into him fighting rocks.
Right.
the
He's
end of the
trying
movie.
to conquer the mountain and
Right.
physically.
Right.
All right.
And then in Galaxy Quest, this is how crazy Galaxy Quest is.
Mm-hmm.
What's his face? Tim Allen fights a
The
rock
rock
monster.
monster. Yeah.
It's the front. They put the rock monster in from the deleted scene from Star Trek V. That's how
Wow.
out there Galaxy Quest is.
Galaxy Quest is great.
So after the Star Trek films, Sarah forced me to watch the Next Generation.
Oh, that
movies.
was her idea.
Yeah, she wanted to watch the Next Generation. I'm like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, we got." All right, so we only got two, and we got the Generations and First Contact. We're on the fence if we're going to continue because
So you have all of them.
I'm the only one I don't have is Nemesis, the very last one. I never bought
Okay.
that one, but I have
Me
them on
neither.
DVD.
That's like the one that I've never had. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them on DVD. Like I found them cheap, right? And I'm like, well, what the heck? I'll just pick them up. Generations is just like, I mean, again, they put no money into that. Like it's a weird
Yeah.
movie. Like why half the uniforms are Deep Space Nine uniforms, the other half are the old Star Trek Generation.
Yeah, that would. It's very cheap. They're not even wearing uniforms made for those characters. They borrowed the actual DS9 uniforms from the actors from DS9.
Yeah, I've heard
So I
that.
think it's like Riker is wearing Cisco's uniform, and they just took. So I think especially Geordi, if you look at certain shots of him, it's really baggy. It's way too big for him. He's wearing somebody else's clothes. It's strange.
And then half the special effects are taken from previous movies. Like they got the bird of prey in there, the explosion. It's the exact same shot from the previous movie. I don't know if they didn't think anyone would notice or what, but you're doing Star Trek here. I mean,
and when they're on the bridge, it's still their set. It's still the Enterprise D set, but now the lighting is all different. They've got everything all weird, dramatic. It's just very strange. And, very cheap production.
Well, and then you got the infamous Kirk death in that movie. This was supposed to be his big sign off, and he dies in a very. It's funny because in Star Trek V, at the beginning of the movie, Kirk falls from the rock that he's climbing, from the mountain that he's climbing, and Spock saves him. And you'd think to yourself, man, that'd be a really lame way if Kirk was to die falling off of the edge of a rock. And that's exactly what they do in Star Trek Generations. But have you ever heard Shatner's joke about that death?
No.
Because like he's kind of Indiana Jones style. He's like hanging on to the bridge, right? As the bridge like falls apart, and then the bridge falls, like he falls to the ground and the bridge falls on top of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Shatner's joke is, you've heard of Captain on the Bridge? Well, that death was Bridge on the Captain.
I
thought that was pretty good.
Ooh.
I laughed. I thought that was good.
Yeah. You know what is funny is right after we started talking about the Star Trek movies, all of the comments stopped.
Yeah, they just dried up. Nobody cares. Well, I still got one more comment though about Star. So I won't say I fixed Star Trek First Contact, but I found the movie that they probably should have made for First Contact. That would have made sense for the Captain Picard character from the TV show. So at the beginning of I don't know, when was the last time you saw First Contact? Has it been recently?
It's been a couple of years, I suppose.
I hadn't seen it in a long time.
I've seen it many times though, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
So at the beginning of the movie, they're not allowed to go fight the Borg, right? Because the Federation says, Enterprise, we don't want you fighting the Borg because we don't have faith in your captain that he can fight the Borg. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's the movie they should have made right there. That would have been the Picard episode in the series where Picard has to go before the Federation and convince them that he is fully capable to fight against the Borg. That would have been the episode right there. That should have been the
Right.
movie. That would have been fun.
Right, except that for his character, that point had already passed in the series, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because
the whole movie.
he faced the board many times
It made no
after.
sense. But here's the thing. As I'm watching the movie, it turns out that the Federation was completely right. Picard was bonkers. He
Yeah.
didn't go nuts. He was telling them to do wrong things. They're like, "We got to blow up the ship, sir." No, we're not going to blow up the ship. And he's like throwing, he's breaking his little toy ships in his room. And it's like, hey, the Federation was right. They knew you were going to go loco, and you did.
Yeah.
Terrible. And here's the thing that kills me too is like, in the original series movies, if that was Kirk, his dilemma, it would have been Kirk and Spock and Bones, right? And they would all sat in a room somewhere and they would have hashed it out and figured it out, right? But in this movie, no, like none of his friends like come and help Captain Picard. None of his friends like Beverly Crusher is right there on the bridge. She doesn't go in and like try to talk to him. He has that scene with Alfie Woodard, whatever her character is,
Lily,
like just a nobody character. It's like, why is this scene with this nobody character? This makes no sense. None of it made sense.
Yeah, it's not a smart movie. It is a watchable movie if you turn your brain off. I understand why Kyle likes it, but I'm not saying anything about Kyle. I'm just saying because in the past I could watch it as a dumb movie, but yeah, if you really think about it, it's nonsense.
I don't, like I said, I've been saying this for a while. I don't understand. Like Star Trek used to be its own unique thing, and that's why you watched it, right? It was like there was nothing else like it on television, and just for the past, I don't know, since J.J. Abrams took over, it's just been nothing but trying to be something else. It's not its own thing. It's like
it's just action movie now.
It's like when Metallica stopped doing thrash metal. They were they were unique and different. They were Metallica. We do thrash metal. And then all of a sudden in the 90s, they're like, no, we're going to follow all the other trends. What's hard rock? We'll do a hard rock album. Oh, people don't like hard rock anymore. They like alternative rock. We'll do an alternative rock. And they just became something else, just following the trend. It's just disappointing. So to answer your question, Joe, no, I am not going to watch Picard. I didn't even finish. What season are they on? Is this the second or third? I don't know. I just watched 2 episodes and I was done. Out. And Bill says Kirk would have boned the Borg queen.
Nope.
And I think Data did.
Data did.
I think he did. I think he
was manipulated into it.
Yeah. Okay. That's it for my Star Trek rant. I watched the movie called Don't Look Up, the Hotness. The new Hotness on Netflix.
Yeah, I know of it, but no, I didn't watch it. It's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, isn't it?
Yes, DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. And everybody was going on about it on the Letterboxd, so I said I better check out this movie. I better see if it's what everybody says it is, and it's not. It's okay. It's like a farce, a parody, a social commentary thing, and it's good. It's got a lot of good ideas, a lot of funny moments. It's definitely watchable and worth a watch. But I did find that it went on too long for what it is. Kept repeating the same points over and over again. And then Jennifer Lawrence's character has nothing to do for the last 3/4 of the movie. She has one important scene at the beginning just to establish that Leonardo DiCaprio, so you don't get too frustrated with Leonardo DiCaprio's character. She does her thing, and that's it. She's done for the rest of the movie. And they just kept her in it for the rest of the movie, and it went on way too long. I mean, the movie was 2.5 hours long, which is way too long for a comedy. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a comedy.
90 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it's like a satire. That's the word I'm looking for. Satire. Okay. And a lot of the humor was a lot like Grand Theft Auto 5. Like they had different alternate names for like the website that people go to and the TV shows that people watch and all that stuff. It's very similar. But it was fine. But just you're in for a movie that's a little bit too long. And then you watched some movies. Let's talk about some movies you watched. You wrote them down here.
Yeah, these are all things that I watched kind of before Christmas. I haven't watched a single movie since January yet. I just haven't had a chance. What did I write down?
You wrote down It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's a Wonderful Life. I did watch that for the first time in many, many years, but I saw it a lot as a kid because I don't know what it was like in Canada, but in the U.S., nobody had exclusive distribution rights to that film for a long time. So every Christmas season, it would be on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 11. Everybody would be playing it. So you'd see it like half a dozen times every year.
Yeah.
So I watched it a ton as a kid. I hadn't seen it in a long time. So I finally sat down and watched it again. And man, that is one great movie. That is one really well done film. And I was watching it and I was like, I remember this. I remember this. I remember this. And I was getting so into it. I was remembering lines of dialogue and scenes and everything. But I got so into the movie. I was so captivated that when it got to the end and George Bailey was in trouble and he didn't know what to do with the money, I actually forgot the ending for a second.
Oh, really?
I forgot it to the point that I was surprised when it happened. Like I was that
That's
into
good.
it. I was just like, yeah, it was like you always say, like, I wish I could see this again for the first time.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, I'm like, yeah, I know all this. And I get to the end, it's like, oh, and then like that moment, and I'm like, wait a minute, I knew this was going to happen. This is such a classic ending. And then, I just really enjoyed. It was one of those great moments where you could see a movie again and like still get that same feeling of seeing it for the first time. And obviously, as a kid, when I watched it, I probably didn't pick up on, all the little nuances and everything of the story, and I probably didn't have any kind of emotional connection to it watching it as a little kid. But what a great film! What a great movie! And then, of course, after you watch that, you have to go watch the Saturday Night Live sketch where they do the alternate ending.
Oh, right.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
That's a great follow-up.
Yeah. Another good movie that's like that doesn't get talked about as much as and I think it's because of the title. It's called The Bishop's Wife with Cary Grant.
I don't even know this one.
It's another movie where it's a Christmas movie and Cary Grant plays an angel. And he goes in and he helps him out. And I was surprised how good it was. And I think it's because of the title. It seems like it's going to be very pious, if you will. But it's not. It's kind of like it has a Forrest Gump kind of vibe to it.
Another great thing about that It's a Wonderful Life is the whole, what everyone knows is the gimmick is he gets to see his life as if he had never been born.
Yeah.
That's like the last 15 minutes of the movie. It's not like the entire movie of doing this.
Yeah.
It's such a small portion because it's all about getting that character established and everybody around him and seeing how he affects all these people. And it really lays down that groundwork. So by the end of it, it's absolutely believable. You can take it in such a far direction.
Okay. The next movie you wrote down was Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. I've been meaning to watch that for a while. It's the Edgar Wright movie. It came out a few years ago, and it's a rough one to wrap my head around. Great directing, great performances. Lot of good work that went into that film. But for some reason, I just can't. I kept falling out of the movie. Like something did not keep me in there. And it's something about the characters, the relationship. I don't know. It's a really good movie that I just don't quite like. It's a movie I can appreciate more than enjoy. I don't know. You've seen it?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree and say it's not a very good movie. I don't think it's very good at all.
Well, it is. I think it does, well made. It's really well made.
But a lot of it is like, okay, they put footage to time of music. That's
impressive.
Like,
it's impressive.
It's every music video ever made. It's not.
No, it goes beyond that. It's It's the Steve Martin sequence in Little Shop of Horrors, but dragged out to like a much larger degree. It's really impressively done.
You gotta have character and story to impress me, and that movie
character is there. The character is there, and the story is there. It just doesn't blend in a proper way for me. I'm kind of agreeing with you. I don't think it's terrible. It's not a bad movie. It's just it doesn't quite click for me.
I don't think it's very good, and that's not how tinnitus, whatever that thing is, tinnitus. That's not how it works. Because I have that. My ears are ringing right now. You can play loud music all you want. It's not going to drown it out. I could still hear it.
Well, I also have tinnitus, and I've done the same thing. I like to have something playing because if I don't have something else to focus on, I focus on that. It doesn't go away. It just distracts.
Sure, yeah. Like it's more pronounced when you're lying in bed at night because it's the only thing you can like. There's nothing making too much noise, but you're only going to hurt your ears even more. I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was
to a degree, yeah. To a degree. Anyway. I think honestly, one of the things that takes me out of that movie is Jamie Foxx, because I'm not really a big fan of his acting style, where every time he has a line of dialogue in any movie I've seen him in, he delivers it in such a way that he's kind of saying, "Look at me, look at me. I'm talking right now." There's something about the way he delivers dialogue. I don't know.
It just reminded me about delivery. I got to go back to Star Trek again for just a second because, I got to say, LeVar Burton's delivery in First Contact, he's usually really good. He's always Geordie LaForge, Mr. LaForge. He's always, but in that movie in particular, when he's talking to James Cromwell, he was 100% LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow, like explaining things to him like as if he was a 3-year-old kid, and he's trying to get him excited about these books. It was watch it again. When they're in the area and he's explaining to Zygfrym Cochrane about the future and how like he's going to be celebrated.
The statue, and I went to Zygfrym Cochrane High School.
It was like I'm watching Reading Rainbow. It's like, what is he doing? Like Frakes was the director of that one. Like, hey, like get in there and tell him like to stop doing that. Like that's not right. Come on. Okay, the last movie you said 7. You finally watched 7.
Yeah, I had never seen 7 before, and that was a darn good movie. I was totally invested.
There you go. That's one of Sarah's favorites. I haven't seen it in a long time. I need to rewatch it because people seem to be. It seems to be a polarized. It seems to be like one of those movies that everyone loved, and now everyone either likes it or not like it.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I read The Inferno a couple of times when I was a kid, so I felt really smart watching it. I was picking up on all the references and everything.
Oh.
I love the style of it's always raining in this city, and you never they never tell you what the city name is because it doesn't matter, because it's supposed to be like they're in hell. It's always raining, and there are lots of scenes where they're going downstairs and it goes into this red light, and lots of little imagery like that. I was like, oh, that's really, really clever. And just everything worked. Morgan Freeman's really good. The reveal of the killer I thought was great, even though it was kind of predictable. I picked up on a couple things. I was like, oh, I know how this is going to end. I was like, oh, okay, I was right. But still really, really great movie. What's in the box?
Fox.
Oh, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Joe was asking about the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. That's one of those movies that I watched the first time, and I was kind of like, it was all right. And then I don't know, I caught it, like part of it on TV or something like that, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie's great. Sometimes you're just not in a good mood or whatever. So, yeah, no, I do like that movie, especially the beginning.
You should watch Baby Driver again when you're in a better mood.
No, that Baby Driver. Trust me, I was in a fine mood for that movie. I know
did
exactly
see Drive.
what was up.
I honestly don't remember a lot about Drive. I remember liking parts of it, but it's a very slow
movie,
so I don't remember much about it.
It's like it's almost like a 70s throwback movie where he's the driver for like people who are doing crimes. He's the getaway guy, right? And
He's
he
the baby
knows,
driver.
yeah. Well, see, Baby Driver ripped him off. There you go, Baby Driver. That was it. That was all the movies you wrote down. Okay, I got one last thing. Sidney Poitier died yesterday or today.
Did he?
Yeah, 94 years old.
Wow. Betty White just died too.
Yes, and that was kind of crazy because before Christmas, I was taking in all this stuff for Betty White, like at work, because they were planning. They're ramping up to her 100th birthday, and they were going to do this big special and all this stuff. So I was grabbing stuff from Golden Girls and this Proposal movie and Mary Tyler Moore show and all this stuff. And I'm like thinking to myself, man, I hope she makes it because all this stuff we're doing. And there you go.
Oh, I'm sure there's still going to be a whole lot of Betty White celebration on her 100th birthday.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it like? It's in like a week or sometime in January.
Well, it's because last year I just watched the Mary Tyler Moore show for the first time since I was a kid. Watched the whole thing, and it seemed like when we were watching it, like everyone who was left alive kept dying on us. Like Gavin MacLeod passed away, and Ed Asner passed away. I was like, man, is Betty White gonna make it to the end? And she made it to the end of our run at least. So, but that show is just completely. There's no one left alive on it except for John Amos, who was on like maybe a half a dozen episodes. He wasn't, that much of a regular. So all the regular cast is gone from that show. Oh yeah, and Peter Bogdanovich passed away too. That guy was always in any sort of DVD extra for an Alfred Hitchcock movie. They got that guy was there. He was in it, but he was he directed the Last Picture Show, which was terrific. That's a great movie with Cloris Leachman. It's a good one. Okay, Sidney Poitier passes away. Now everybody knows In the Heat of the Night, and guess who's coming to dinner? But I got some other recommendations for you because, especially in the 60s, he was always their go-to guy if they had, during the civil rights movement, that if you're doing any sort of social commentary movie about civil rights, you got Sidney Poitier in there. So that was In the Heat of the Night and Guess Who's Coming Dinner, social commentary movies on that. Two more I would recommend in that vein was a movie called A Raisin in the Sun. And it's a movie about this black family who's trying to, they buy a house. They just go into a neighborhood and they buy a house and they're getting ready to move in to this house. And he's the son, but he's kind of like the head of the family. And suddenly this guy shows up and says, hey, you're buying that house. It's like, yeah. He's like, look, I'm going to offer you, how you paid this much for it. I know you only paid this much for it. I'm going to offer you like that. Plus like, I don't know, it's like $5,000 more or something like that. And this is in the 60s, right? Which $5,000 is a lot of money. And he's like, what? Like, you're going to pay me to pay? Well, it turns out that the guy is a racist. And then they have like this committee that goes in and tries to buy the homes before black people can buy the home because they want to keep the neighborhood white.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. Go check it out. Oh, and the guy who tries to buy the home is the actor who did the voice for Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny to watch, like you got this racist guy on screen and he's got the Winnie the Pooh voice because he never changed his voice for Winnie the Pooh, right? Okay, so there's that one. And then another movie called A Patch of Blue. This was another good one. It's a white girl. She's blind. She falls in love with Sidney Poitier. They meet in the park and they fall in love. She doesn't realize she's black until after she falls in love. She doesn't care, right? But her mom is a racist. Played by Shelley Winters. Another good movie. Check that one out. Patch of Blue. Okay, so he didn't just do movies that was all just about race, though. I got three more. Another good one was called The Defiant Ones. This was a good movie. I think they remade it like a couple of years ago, whatever. I never saw the remake. Go watch the original. it's Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis. They're in prison, and they break out, but they're chained to each other, and they're trying to run away from the cops the entire time that they're chained towards you. Good movie. Check that one out. Edge of the City. This was a movie where he is he's trying to get work in a factory. Maybe there was some racism in that one too, because he's trying to join a union and he's working in a factory and he's a black guy and they don't want him in there, all that. So I guess that one kind of falls on there. Okay, final one. This one has nothing to do with race. It's called the Slender Thread, and it's him, and he is working. This was kind of before the 911 thing, right? So people would call numbers if they were having problems. So he's working at this thing where it was like a hotline, like a suicide hotline thing, where people would call if they have problems. And this woman calls him, and he's like trying to get out of there. Right? He's working the shift at this thing. He's trying to get out of there, and this woman calls last minute. She's like, "I'm going to kill myself." So now he has to talk her out of killing herself. And the woman is Mel Brooks's wife. I'm blanking on her name. But anyways,
I don't know.
I have to look it up now. I know it. I know her name. It's
I have no idea who Mel Brooks is married to.
Well, she's dead now. She passed away. Now I can't find the movie. God damn it.
Mrs. Brooks?
No, it wasn't Mrs. Brooks.
Melanie Brooks?
No. Oh, here. Okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm clicking on it. It was Anne Bancroft.
Okay.
Thanks to the chat for bailing me out of that. Yeah, Paper Moon was good. Stir Crazy. Yeah, but those are movies that people know. Stir Crazy, Paper Moon. I'm talking about the movies.
Sidney Poitier was in Stir Crazy?
I don't remember him in Stir Crazy. I don't know what Bill's talking about. I think he's got, Bill's a little bit racist, so he probably confused his black actors. He doesn't realize that it was Richard Pryor in that movie.
What's the movie behind you, like sticking off the shelf on your right? There's a box sticking off the shelf behind you on your yeah.
This?
Yeah, what is that?
This is Star Trek Seen It. I just had nowhere to put
Oh,
it.
okay. I was wondering why there's this giant box just sticking off your shelf.
By the way, oh yeah, I got to show you one thing. Hold on. Entertain people just for a second.
Entertain people. There's nobody here anymore. Oh, he directed it. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. Okay. Points to you, Bill. I watched that not too long ago, probably within the past year for the first time. Very good movie. Duel at Diablo. I've never even heard of that. Is it a Western?
Oh, he directed Stir Crazy?
Stir Crazy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know the movie. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can pull this off. You know the movie Soylent Green, right?
Yes.
Did you know that it's the year 2022?
Oh, look at that.
So be careful when you order stuff at the restaurant. What you get.
Oh, that's a movie that I've never seen, but I certainly know the ending.
It holds up. It's good. Good times. Especially when they start plowing into people with the tractor. It's good times.
Watch it.
Okay, that's it. I got nothing else.
Oh, I got a question for you. In the Discord, which I've been pretty active on recently.
Yeah, go check that out.
I was complaining for me to get on the Discord. I said I was cleaning up my project space, and you said you too. Does that mean you're actually making something, or you're just cleaning that area?
I'm kind of surprised that people haven't noticed, especially you. See all my model kits here?
No, I can't see that. It's very small on my screen.
That's all. These are my model kits here.
Like that occupies literally about 2 centimeters of space on my screen. I can't see.
Here's the 78 Transam there.
Ooh.
So I brought them all down here to work on the desk down here.
Okay, so you are planning on doing something.
10 minutes of food. Oh, Sarah's ready to eat. Jeez. Sorry.
See, Joe's on my
Joe,
side. It's
yeah.
too dark. I can't see anything in the back of your room.
Well, earlier it was light. It was brighter.
I'm so focused on you. I don't know.
It just
Pay
got-
attention to the surroundings.
It just got dark
Unless it's a
recently.
giant Star Trek board game.
Yeah.
So, are you also going to explain why you are no longer buried on Mars?
I'm still buried on Mars. I still have that
Mm.
moniker. I just started a new website. So
Mhm.
I had all this time off, and I planned on doing something like this in the summer, but then everything just got crazy.
Yeah, I remember a while back you were toying around with that name.
Yeah.
And, you had it for a little bit, and then you went back to buried on Mars.
Right, with the Z.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, I had all this time, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna do that website. I'm gonna do something productive with my time instead of just playing GTA 5 and Skyrim and watching Star Trek movies. I'm gonna do something creative. So I fired that idea back up, and so when I was gonna do a whole new Twitter handle, whole new Instagram account, and I'm like, you know what, I don't want another Twitter account. I don't want another Instagram account. So I just said, you know what, screw it, I'll just change it. So there. And Canadian Grooves is blocked at Bill's work because it's too pornographic. Yeah. So there you
Slow
go.
down
That's the
on
story.
those grooves.
Hey, check this out. Somehow on the bottom of my slipper, got
What is that, a
picking
peanut?
at it here. See what that is? That is a screw.
What were
There's a
you
screw
doing?
in there? Screwing my shoe, apparently.
All right.
I wonder if I can unscrew it.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
It's not working it.
Oh.
Anyways. Okay, there you go. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we actually had a bunch of people here today.
Yeah, we did.
That's crazy. Right from the start, we had Bill, we had Rocket Sauce, we had Joe, Duke chimed in, Llama Llama Ding Dong was here,
Sucker
Creepy
Sim, she
Josh was in for a second. Yep,
Yeah.
Sarah. I have a feeling that Sarah's always hiding in the back there. She just doesn't speak
I don't
up.
think so. No, I don't think so. She just
Really?
She
She just
wants
comes
to
in
let
and
me
tell
know
you
it's time.
when food's ready?
I think so. Yeah, I quiz her after,
Wow.
and she doesn't know what the heck we were talking about.
Oh, look, Mrs. Q Dog. I didn't even realize.
Came in, yeah, just for a second. Yeah, of course. I mean, come on, think about it. Bill is your employee. You're just going to give him free reign on the internet. You got to put him behind a net nanny for sure. Mrs. Q Dog got it right.
Mhm.
Okay, well, go check us out on Discord. Lots of stuff happening over there. A lot of interaction.
Mm. Yep.
Richard has been very active over there.
Sure.
It's been good times. We talked about Star Trek over there, and what else did we talk about?
I found
and you released
Ghostbusters
that,
2 clip.
a Ghostbusters. Was that was in New York only? So it was a
I have
commercial
no
for
idea.
Ghostbusters 2.
It's the commercial that's in Ghostbusters 2, but it's the complete scene that they shot,
Yeah.
right? When they're doing, a thermal beverage cup and free balloons for
Right.
the kids. So it's the one that you see in the movie, but it's the
Right.
complete footage in widescreen HD. I don't know how they recreated this or whatever, but it's fun watch because in that one little scene, there are so many little comedy points of the Ghostbusters, them in movie not being actors that have to put together this commercial. And it's just really funny.
Yeah.
Bad rack focuses and, crazy acting. Look at Egon is mouthing the lines for the other
Right.
characters. It's really fun.
Yeah, they were doing all the cliche bad acting. Things.
Yes,
But
yes.
that was great. No, because in the movie, it's shown, parts of it are shown during the montage, during the song montage.
Yes,
And
yeah.
half of it is characters watching it on the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But they got the whole what they shot for the commercial and edited together. They had the whole thing. So someone must have had access to the master tape. Like someone had to have had it. They couldn't done that from what's shown in Ghostbusters 2.
Right. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know who put it together, because that one says that it's like they modified it from somebody else's video. So I don't know where this was. I was curious if that was on like one of the Blu-ray bonus features or something, but I never looked for it. I never thought about it.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. So, well, go check that out on the Retro Fandango Discord. That's where you can find that video. A link to that video. But if you're not elite enough to get into the Discord, you can still check us out on Twitter at @retro_fandango. You can check me out. I'm at Canadian Grooves. And you can check out Richard. He is at Thundertush.
TJ Thundertush.
TJ Thundertush. Why TJ?
Thunderjunk.
Thunderjunk Thundertush. Wow.
We're rebranding this year.
I get it's 2022. It's up to you, 2022. New closing song? No, we just you've been Thundertushed? Oh, maybe. Maybe you'll have to check out the audio version and see if that's happened.
Oh, you're gonna see how ambitious you are.
I think I did a Thunderstruck one already, though. I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember what, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Back to the archive. I know.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, commentating, listening, whatever you did. I thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.